Hey folks, as always, one of the things which excites me most about the retro computing scene is the creation of new games on old systems. For me, the pinnacle of that has always been seeing what comes out with the sort of yearly RGCD 16K cartridge compo on the humble C64. Over the years that it's been running, we've gotten a lot of modern classics developed, and some of those have even been expanded out for commercial release. Despite real life and the delays it imposed, we finally got the 2015 contest all wrapped up with 11 shiny new C64 games for us all to check out. Like I did last year, I'm going to give them all a quick run through, show them in action, and highlight the ones I enjoyed most. So with that, let's get this show on the road. The first entry in the list is Alienator, developed by veteran C64 coder Georg Rottensteiner, also known as Endurian. Despite being a quick entry for the competition, there's still plenty of charm to be found here, as you're tasked with battling the Vogons across 99 levels in action, reminiscent of Space Invaders. Whilst it might look like that classic, there's quite a bit more added to the gameplay, from dynamic alien formations, where the rows move in alternating directions, to an assortment of power-ups, which are up to the player to discover, along with a variety of bosses to blast through. There's just so much variety here. There's a great synth soundtrack, really tight controls, and honestly, a lot of game for your 16K, meaning that this is quite a great opener to the competition. We've blasted alien invaders, now it's time to bash bricks with Blip and Battery revisited by Richard Bayless. This is an enhanced edition of a game he released in 2015, bringing 16 new levels combined with new graphics and music onto this original release. The big twist compared to your average brickbuster is managing two paddles at the same time. This leads to plenty of challenge in coordinating your joystick inputs with each paddle's position. The lower paddle is moved by your joystick, and the upper paddle is positioned in its mirror location. Thus, moving the lower paddle to the far left moves the upper paddle to the far right, and vice versa. There's plenty of challenge here, from getting used to the controls, to the challenges of the faster speeds, and even the option for strobing graphics, which I thankfully turned off here. If you want to try out something that'll twist your mind around a bit, then this is well worth checking out. Up next, we've got Bug Hunt, developed by Eric Hillau. Keeping with the simple arcade style we've seen in the competition so far, you play a little creature which has to go and snap up the blue and brown bugs flying about the screen. It's a simple concept, but the challenge comes from having to avoid the yellow ones which end the game on contact. As you progress through the levels, the patterns of bugs will twist around, meaning to snap up a large score, you'll have to be swift on the joystick to dodge the yellow bugs flying about. The presentation's charming, and it's great to see a C64 game with such a large number of sprites being thrown about without running into any issues. It's maybe simple, but it's charming to play, and that makes it quite a good bit of fun in my book. Time to slow things down a bit as we look at Icicle Race, developed by John Christian Loningdahl, best known for Rocket Smash, released in the 2013 competition. Your goal is rather straightforward here: move through each of the levels and put out the fires before time runs out. In order to do that, you must move around the level, pushing ice blocks around. Some of those will slide straight into the fires, but the trickier ones, that's where you'll be removing or adding blocks, done by pressing the fire button. I absolutely love the art style here, using the high resolution modes to present some crisp and colourful graphics. In addition, I love the ability to restart a level if you get stuck. Essential for a good puzzle game in my book. With tight controls and lots of levels to play, this is one gem that's well worth checking out. Going from pure puzzling to platform puzzling, next up we have Pickle's Pod Patrol by Steve Odie. Pickle's a creature who happens to be in a spot of bother. He's got to go through each level, find the little blue pods, and push them back to the exit. Along the way, there's the usual assortment of enemies to avoid, or you can temporarily dispatch them by spitting at them. Though if you do this, you'll need to find a patch of water to replenish yourself so you can spit again. Whilst the concept is simple enough, I found the execution a bit of a letdown, as even when capturing footage, I ran and found myself diving for my C64's reset button on far too many occasions. From being stuck at the top of the screen when jumping near the top, to being stuck at a level because I got to a pod spawn location a little early and bumped it in the wrong direction. There's a nice concept here, and I think if given a bit more love, it could turn into a little fun game. But right now, I personally didn't enjoy it so much. Keeping with platforming, now it's Splatman, developed by One Axe. In this one, a rather familiar looking ghost guzzler is exploring a maze, and your objective is to get to the exit. You'll need keys to unlock the doors you encounter, all whilst avoiding the ghosts moving about, along with avoiding the spikes, water, and other hazards. I have to admit, transplanting a character like this into a platformer does sound a little odd to begin with, but you know something? I think it works really well. The controls are tight, the presentation's simple but cheerful, and I really adore the usage of the high resolution modes here as well. It adds a lot of character to the graphics, compared to many other platformers which grace the C64. It might be straightforward, but it's polished, playable, and well worth checking out. For the most part, the entries in this year's compo have mostly been original takes on things, the enhanced edition of Blip and Battery notwithstanding. But this doesn't apply to Daniel Hotop's conversion of Quack, the classic puzzler best known for its Amiga release. To complete each level, Quack needs to move about and collect all the keys, whilst avoiding the enemies and hazards. There are plenty of other pickups for points, but the most important ones are the flowers. Collecting 8 of those will earn you an extra life. Once all the keys are collected, the exit door opens and you can move on to the next stage. There's great controls, colourful graphics, and jolly music to complete the package. My only real bugbear is the lack of a password system. There's many levels in the original versions of the game, and I feel it's a monumental effort to do them all in one go here. Despite that, this is one that I believe is well worth checking out. Time to bring things up a notch with Ring on a String, developed by Rock. The aim of this one's pretty self-explanatory. You see a ring moving along the string, and you need to give it a nudge every now and then with the spacebar to avoid it touching the string. As the ring travels on the string, it'll start to move up and down. And this is where the challenge comes in, as you carefully need to time pressing space to accommodate those changes in the string's pattern. It's one of those games where the trick is in the timing, and not necessarily in hitting space as fast as possible. And that's pretty much it. Time pressing space so you don't mess up, and see how far you can get. It does feel a little Spartan by comparison with some of the other entries, but don't let that necessarily turn you off it. Time for a bit of clean-up duty with this next game, Slime Deluxe by Mr. Dot. Like Quack, its origins come from another machine, and this time, it's a game for the Commodore PET. Now, as a single-screen blaster, your task is simple: clear each screen of the slime which is dropped in by enemies. At first glance, it might look like just another centipede inside a blaster, and whilst it may lack the trappings of Red or Green Runner or the frantic mania of Jeff Minter's classics in the genre, it's frantic enough in its own right, especially when you miss a few deposits and they grow out to a manic size. One of the more interesting twists on offer is the ability to rotate in any of the 4 cardinal directions. The downside is that you can only do this from the keyboard, and depending on your setup, it's not the most convenient way to go. Despite that, it's frantic, and that's more than welcoming to set of releases with some nice character graphics, music, and some good blasting gameplay. Terra Heaven Eternity Arctic by Simon Quernhorst is unlike the other entries in this compo, as it was written for his young daughter as a bit of a personal game and to get her interested in retro game controls. Quite a noble endeavour if you have to ask me. As a result, this is quite different from the other games in the competition. You choose one of the 4 elements in the title and navigate the increasingly challenging mazes to collect a piece of gear for your pony. Once you've cleared the mazes, you'll play them again, but this time moving faster, and then you're pretty much done. For young kids, I think it's a great one to introduce them to retro gaming and retro game controls. But if you're not in that position, then there's not much to see here outside of that initial play. The final game in the contest is also from Richard Bayless. Tex Crystals has you proceeding through a series of rooms, aiming to cover all the crystals, then getting to the exit as quickly as possible. The exit initially starts slow, but after collecting all the crystals, the exit pass can be obtained by taking out one of the respawning enemies, at which point you can head for it and earn a juicy bonus for your ammo remaining. Ammo can be replenished from pickups that enemies may drop as you take them out. The room layouts offer plenty of challenges, from dodging and then blasting wandering enemies, to navigating over the spikes and other obstacles which will stand in your way. Despite feeling the controls were a little off around jumping, this is one of those games which is really fun to check out, and what feels like quite a lot of levels will give you plenty of play from this one. So there we have it, 11 brand new 64 games for you to download and check out right now. I had a lot of fun firing these up and giving them all a whirl. There's quite a few I know I'll go back to for certain, and I hope that you find some favourites to check out as well. So to wrap up, I'll just mention my 3 picks. My first one is for Icicle Race. The combination of a large level set, along with tight controls and colourful high-res graphics, shows what you can do when you harness the C64's power. Plus, it's got great puzzling action. My next pick is Splatman. Sure, platformers aren't anything special on the hardware, but I really enjoyed the exploratory go from room to room gameplay. Taking the tropes of a classic and putting them in a different genre actually worked out pretty well in my books. Combined with the great high-res graphics, tight controls and good music, it's certainly another gem that's well worth playing. As for my third, it's got to be Slime Deluxe. I've always been a sucker for a good single-screen blaster, and this one delivers that action in spades. The presentation's charming, and the gameplay is tight. After slowly growing slime deposits posing a different enough threat, it's one that really should be checked out. I'm really looking forward to seeing what the judges pick for their top entries, as well as what other people have to say, so if you've got some thoughts, do leave some comments down below. As always, thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you next time.